Hey guys, how's it going? Magnus here. And welcome to 2021. 2020 was a crazy year for many reasons. I feel like it was a lot worse for a lot of people. I myself was in a very privileged situation where 2021 or 2020, good gravy. I'm already in 2021 mode. 2020 was not as bad of a year for me as it could have been, and I'm sure was for a lot of other people. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Welcome to the January 2021 channel update. For those of you that are just joining me for the new year, hi, how you doing? My name is Magnus, and I'm here to soothe you with updates to my channel and what's going to happen in the coming month. And for those of you that already know what's going on, then hey, welcome back. Thanks for stopping by again. And let's go ahead and jump right in. So let's look back at 2020 as a whole for the channel and what kind of happened. So the biggest thing that happened in 2020 was my big old rebrand. I kind of tripped a little bit on, letting people know. I should have made a formal announcement about it, looking back. But, hindsight is 2020. But, yeah, no, I should have, released a separate video. I had mentioned it in streams, and I'd mentioned it on Discord, but I never made an actual, full-on video about it. And I kind of wish I had, but, like I said, you kind of learn as you go with some things, and that was kind of a learning point for me. But we did it, and it seemed like everyone was okay with it for the most part. It's been a bit of a bit weird for people that are coming back, and they're like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" type stuff. But I think overall it's going to be a really good thing, and I kind of want to get into the reasoning behind the name change for those of you that haven't tuned into a certain live stream. I think I've mentioned it once in a live stream, but I probably should mention it as to why I chose the name that I chose and kind of how I sectioned off the channel as a whole, just for the sake of clarity. So why did I choose the name Will-o-Wisp? That's kind of a weird random name, right? Well, what I've noticed throughout my about 10 years on YouTube is I like to take people on a journey that is kind of off the beaten path, so to speak. For instance, I play a lot of games that are very niche and very small. I focus mainly on the indies. And, games that a lot of people probably don't know about or have slipped under the radar. And that's not to say I'm limiting myself by only doing that. I'll play the big AAA game every now and then, and if it suits my fancy, I'll play something that's a little bit more popular, even in the indie space. But for the most part, I find that I gravitate more towards those lesser known titles. And that's not to say I'm targeting that as what I want to do. I've just found that I naturally gravitate towards that type of stuff because it speaks to me more than, say, a lot of your AAAs. And that's not, again, to say that I don't like AAA games or anything like that. I love, games that are as a whole. But I just found that I myself gravitate more towards that, and I like sharing that. So that's kind of what I changed into, is a guy that's kind of takes you off the beaten path. And to be honest, I've gotten more and more into your Celtic, Irish, and European folklore and stuff. I found that I really enjoy mythology and folk tales and folklore, and that really kind of gets my gears going, so to speak, especially, mythical monsters and beasts and spirits and fae and all that. I love that type of stuff. I could go on and on about it. And one of the mythological creatures that I think describes the channel the best is the Will-o-Wisp. For those of you that are Lord of the Rings fans, I think they're called Swamplights. I mean, that is another name for the Will-o-Wisps, but basically they're little mischievous spirits that will plague the swamps of the moor and lead people to either their death or make them get lost. Usually they're not, malicious. They don't like kill people. There are stories that show that they kill people, but for the most part, they are just mischievous. They're very much like the fairies and fae of Irish legends, where they're not really, well, okay, there's a lot of very, very dangerous fae, but for the most part, they are just mischievous, and they lead people off the beaten path. That's what I want to do, is I want to lead you off the beaten path and try to broaden your horizons, so to speak, as to, like, there being more out there than just, like, your Call of Duties and stuff like that. I want to show that there's a ton of stuff out there that you may not, like, be on your radar, so to speak. And there's stuff, like, I get sent stuff all the time that's like, oh, snap, I didn't know that was a thing. I just, that's kind of the reasoning behind it, was I love Celtic and folklore and stuff like that, and fae, and I felt like, you know what, that defines my channel, and so I chose that name, Will-o-Wisp. Now, why we sectioned off the games and the arts, well, we'll get into that. Mainly, the gaming and art are kind of my two passions in life. I love video games, and I love doing art. I don't know, I always felt like the art kind of was not what people came here for, because I started off as a Let's Play channel, and then I tried to branch out into art, and I don't know, part of me thinks that maybe that wasn't the best decision. I should have just kept things, contained and whole, even if it wasn't necessarily what people wanted to watch. It felt a little bit more whole and contained, and I don't know, perhaps as the year goes on, I might just glomp that back in and just be like, okay, we're just, we're doing art and games, that's it. So it's kind of a mess. So my Twitch holds all of my live streams. I post everything there, gaming and art. And then I upload the stream archives from that to a separate channel called Will-o-Wisp Art. And the Will-o-Wisp Games is just for gaming. And I don't know, I feel like that gives it more focus, but by the same token, for those that enjoyed me doing art, which I don't know how many were out there that enjoyed it, but for those that were, they gotta subscribe to another thing, or they have to go on Twitch, and I don't know. I feel like maybe that wasn't the best decision. Again, hindsight, blah blah blah. But I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out if I want to just move everything back into one channel and just not have to worry about anything else. But we'll just have to see how it goes. We'll see what you guys think and kind of see how things turn out. Because, as I'll mention later in the video, I've got plans for what I want to do creatively. But we'll get to that in a sec. We're jumping ahead a little bit. So, another thing that happened in 2020 was Animal Crossing's release. And I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan. And as you can tell on the channel, I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Granted, when Animal Crossing first came out, I was playing every day. I still do, but I don't record it or stream it or anything like that like I used to. Mainly that's because Animal Crossing's kind of gotten to the point for me where, it's the daily login, takes about 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour max, especially with the snowman stuff, because I get them just right. But for the most part, it's kind of doing the same stuff every day, and I don't feel like that's very fun. So what I've relegated Animal Crossing to is doing the major holidays. I will stream Animal Crossing pretty much every holiday, without fail. Like, I know we just barely snuck in on the New Year's with Animal Crossing. That's kind of the main plan, I've relegated Animal Crossing to a holiday thing, and I plan to kind of do parties in it and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not a daily thing anymore, like, in terms of recording, but you'll still see it around the channel, trust me. And speaking of recorded content, another thing we started redoing in 2020 and dropping off was recorded content. I stopped doing recorded content because my job was starting to get demanding, and I just couldn't juggle it all. I want to say it was honestly like early 2020 when I stopped. I don't quite remember, but I started missing it. You know, I was doing more streams and stuff, and streams are easy to do. Like you get set up and you hit a button and then it's done. Once it's done, you gotta worry about it. You don't gotta worry about editing it and spending hour upon hour doing it. And I don't know, I was getting tired and I wanted to take a break from recorded content for a bit. But then as I think it was around December, I think December was when I started recording stuff again. I started to miss it. I was like, oh man, I kind of want to record content. Because, like, I don't know, I feel like there are personalities and Let's Play styles that lend themselves more to streaming and more to recording. Personally, I feel like I fit more into the recording box because I can make more pull-away gags, I can cut stuff into make it more funny and make it visually funny or interesting. And streaming, I don't have that option. It's straight raw gameplay. And sometimes, I don't know, I feel like I'm not as funny or as entertaining, perhaps, streaming as I am doing recorded content. But I also enjoy streaming. I kind of look at streaming as more casual, more raw, so therefore you don't gotta worry about like making everything, professional and be like, oh man, this has to go perfectly, otherwise it's bad. Whereas with recorded content, I put a little bit more time and effort into making sure everything looks good. I know with like the Little Witch Academia VR video, I actually tweaked my VR recording settings on my Oculus Quest to make sure that you guys had a more enjoyable viewing experience when viewing that video. And I kind of like doing that type of stuff for you guys and going that extra mile, especially when it's recorded content. With streaming stuff, I can only do so much. I do my best to make sure everything looks great and it's nice and the game's front and center and all that, but I don't know. I feel like just me doing recorded content is a lot more entertaining and a lot more fun. So we're going to keep doing that. Granted, I know I said into the December update that we'd have like a set schedule. I think I'm going to throw that out the window. Just because I don't want to stress myself out with saying, oh, I have to hit this deadline X day for X amount of time. Like, don't get me wrong, deadlines are fine, and I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with doing deadlines. Especially with some things. Like, if I know a game comes out this day, I'm gonna do something that day. But, like, it's hard enough for me to try and keep up with the day-to-day life and also try and record and also try and do all the stuff and juggle all these balls at once. I feel like that's what made me burn out on recording in the first place. So what I want to try and do is take a more approach of quality over quantity. Instead of recording a bunch of stuff all at once and just throwing it out there on the internet, I kind of want to take my time. I want to make recorded stuff an event, an experience where it's like, oh, this is something special, or this is going to be really, really good. A lot of people don't realize that I take a lot of time with recorded videos. I spend 16-ish, 8-ish hours on a video, editing it and making it the best I can. Granted, I'm a one-man band. Everything you see on the channel is results of me doing my own thing by myself. And, that's got its ups and downs. Maybe one day, if I ever get to the point where I'm able to do, like, this full-time and if I can get an editor and stuff like that, who knows? Who knows what'll happen? 2021 is just getting started, and who knows what this year is going to bring for us. And speaking of what's coming in 2021, let's go ahead and get into the upcoming stuff that's going to be happening this year. Now, I will get to upcoming games, but honestly, there's not a whole lot coming out in January, because, it's January. But I do have a lot of stuff planned for January. So, for starters, I do want to mention I am going to art school. I've just started going to CGMA. Not by the time you're watching this, depending on when you're watching this. If you're watching when it's first up, then no, I'm still free as a bird, but I will be going in mid to late January. It's online, thankfully, so I don't have to actually go anywhere, but I don't know how much time that's going to take up. So we might have to juggle again. So that's why I kind of am letting myself break off from the set schedule that I was going to make myself do, because, it's going to be hard. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I've never been to art school, and I don't know how rigorous and hard this is going to be. Granted, I'm only taking one class because I could only afford one class. But next semester, as we go through the year, I'm going to pile on more and more and more. And who knows what that'll bring. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to sit there and do it all, but we'll just have to see. And speaking of doing it all, we're bringing back Nexomon. I streamed this game, like, a good while ago, and I promised I was going to make more of it. And then I kept playing it. I could not stop playing it. I haven't beat it, but I progressed further than when we left off. So I'm kind of in this awkward stage where I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to try and explain the story, or start over again. Oh no. So that's kind of what's held me back from A, playing it, and B, getting more content out of it. So I'm gonna bring it back. I wholeheartedly intend to. I'm gonna record something for it. I just have to figure out, like, how I'm gonna jump over that hurdle. If I'm just gonna, like, explain the story, or as best I can, and just roll with it, or whatever we're gonna do. I don't know. I kind of want to make it like those old 90s Pokemon anime series where, like, each episode is titled something corny and dumb, and, like, it has a title card, and it just, I feel like that'd be cool. Like, just to make it like an old 90s anime, or Pokemon anime, that'd be kind of cool, from a video editing standpoint, And then, another thing we're gonna stream is we're gonna do Haven. I played, like, a good bit of Haven, on a stream, and I really, really dig that game. It's super fun. So I think we're gonna try and finish that game, play it all the way through. I don't know if we'll beat it, but I really want to try to. But I really enjoyed that game, so I definitely am gonna play it. And another thing we played at the tail end, the last game of 2020, was Minecraft, of all things. I haven't played Minecraft in 2 years. Like, I haven't even looked at it. I didn't even, like, I think I read, like, once about, I don't even remember. It was like, oh, Minecraft got an update. Cool, awesome. I'm gonna go over here and not touch that. I think it was because I was just like, I wasn't really burnt out on it. I think I just wanted a break, and I was just like, I'll take a break on Minecraft. I got other games to play. And I just never touched it. And then on December, like, I think it was like halfway through December, I was like, man, I'm kind of itching for Minecraft. Huh. And so I booted it up when the RTX stuff, ray tracing and all that, popped into it. And I was like, oh man, how do I... Like I realized, oh my gosh, I have no idea how to do anything in this game anymore. Like, the Windows 10, and granted, I'm using Bedrock, which is the Windows 10 version, which is completely different from the Java version that I used to use. So it was a steep learning curve, and I was like, oh my gosh, the UI is completely different. How do I do anything? And then we streamed it. Like, after I got, like... Beforehand, I was dabbling in it, just trying to get, like, RTX to work on normal worlds, because apparently Microsoft, in all their wisdom, or NVIDIA, whoever pushed out the update was like, oh, you can only use it on these certain maps unless you get a special texture pack. And so I had to hunt down a special texture pack, and then I found it, and then we were all good and gravy. But like, I don't know, those first few minutes of like getting into Minecraft, I was like, oh gosh, I don't know what anything is anymore. And I still don't. Like, I still have no idea what like half of anything is anymore in that game. I think I dropped out around like when they introduced llamas, I think was the last thing I remember seeing off of Minecraft. So like, it's just nuts to me now. So we're gonna bring that back. I feel like streaming that on occasion is gonna be fun. And then another thing we're bringing is Phasmophobia. Now I know this game's like exploded in popularity, but my friends from D&D really want to play it, and I don't know. I've been like, that'd be kind of fun. And I've got the VR headset to play it in VR now, so I'm like, let's see how like terrified I'll get. I don't know. We'll see if I ever do bring that up. I don't know. My friends haven't asked to play it just yet, so I think once everyone gets it and we all start to play it together, some antics will ensue. And speaking of games that are coming up, let's talk about the games that are coming up in January. Don't worry, the list is very short. So for starters, we have The Medium, which is this like psychological horror game set in different dimensions. It looks really cool and really trippy. I don't know if they're gonna slip it back, because like I honestly haven't seen much about this game other than like the couple trailers they've released. But I know originally it was coming out in late 2020, and then they pushed it back to January 2021. So we'll see if this actually comes out. I am really interested in it. It looks really, really spoopy and really, really like dark and kind of like that body horror Cronenberg-y type stuff. So I don't know. Kind of want to see what it's all about, and I really kind of just want to take my peekies at it. And speaking of spooky stuff, we have in early January 2021, we have Sense, a cyberpunk ghost story. Now, this game looks really, really kind of atmospheric, but it's this cyberpunk horror game that's very Japanese horror, and I love Japanese horror over the jump scare laden like a lot of your Western horror does. Regardless, it looks fun, it looks neat, it looks spooky, and I really kind of want to play it and like see what it's all about. And that's pretty much all the games that are coming out in January. Like I said, like I tried to find like, is there anything that's coming out in January? And there really is not much. But yeah, in terms of 2021, I know that like people do these resolution things, and I don't know, I've never been that type of person to do that. I kind of just go about my business and just keep going and going. But I figured, this year I'll at least line out, like, not necessarily a roadmap, but more of a general idea on what I want to do in 2021 and accomplish. I guess that is kind of resolutions, but, like, I don't really think I'm changing anything, just kind of fine-tuning and tweaking things I'm already doing. So, I don't know. It's that weird middle gray area, I guess. I don't know. But I don't plan on, like, doing anything different. I just want to improve on the things I'm already doing, which is, I guess, easier instead of, like, doing something drastic that I may not stick with. I don't know. It's weird. But one thing I want to get better at in terms of like 2021 goals is I want to get better at anatomy, and I'm starting like human anatomy, which I'm doing by I'm taking a head drawing class from New Masters Academy. I'm also taking a figure drawing class from Schoolism. I'm also doing a character design class from Steven Silver, and on top of that, I'm also going to CGMA for human anatomy, or with a human anatomy class. Granted, my entire roadmap is actually in storyboarding, but they want me to improve my drawing skills before then, which makes sense. So that's my main thing, is I am really diving deep into getting the human form right and understanding how to draw people. But that's my big one that I want to try and improve on, is get better at drawing the peoples and the humans. And then learn how to make those humans not humans and make them weird stuff like fawns and junk, because I think that'd be kind of cool. Another thing I want to do is I want to start selling my artwork and doing commissions. I don't know if I'll be doing this or not, but I want to get to the point where I am able to start selling my work and doing commissions and stuff, and see if I can maybe make some revenue, and maybe, just maybe, be able to survive off of that. Granted, I know that is a pie-in-the-sky dream at this stage. I don't have the skills just yet to really do that and make a living off of it, but I want to get there. And if I can, like, just try my best to get to a point where I am able to do that, then aces. If not, well, at least I'm getting better, and one day I plan on doing that. And in terms of making more content, I want to do more art streams. I know they kind of dropped off the face of the earth, you know, all 2020, like there was no art streams pretty much. And that was mainly because, like, I do classes, like, and the tricky thing about the classes are, like, I don't know if you can really stream those, because, like, it's kind of a copyright thing. I don't know, it's a weird gray area, because, like, you're paying for the class, so, like, I'm basically taking a camera into class and recording the class and then sharing the class with people online. I don't know. I just didn't know what to do with it, to be honest. And, like, I was thinking, like, okay, maybe if I just record my sketchbook and just record what I'm doing, maybe, but I don't know how fun that'd be for people. I don't know. If you guys want to see that, let me know, because I'm fine with doing that. I'm not going to record, like, basically the class and then my sketchbook and be like, okay, this is how you do, you know, type thing. But I don't know. I plan on trying to do more, like, study streams and more art stuff in general on the Twitch channel and stuff like that. So that's one thing I want to try and start doing again and being better at. And another thing I want to try and do and get better at is using different materials. I'm stuck in graphite and, you know, the occasional charcoal and, like, pen. That's pretty much the only things I use. And digital, but, you know. Other than that, I don't use anything else. Well, actually, that is incorrect. I have started dabbling in watercolor and I have done acrylic. But I've got so many other things. Like, I've got clay that I can sculpt in. I've got these etching boards, and I've got, like, acrylic dip and stuff like that. I've got all these materials that are just sitting there doing nothing, and I'm like, good gravy. And I got and for Christmas I got Posca pens, and I haven't used them yet, and it's bugging the heck out of me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got this stuff and I want to use it, but I don't know how. And, like, that's the forever, like, turmoil I have, is it's like, I want to use this stuff, but it costs so much that I'm, like, afraid to use it because I'm afraid I'm going to make something bad out of it. And I'm like, I don't want to waste these materials, but, like, that's a catch-22 because you're never going to get good at it if you don't use it, right? So I want to just throw that away because, like, as bad as this is going to sound, we're all going to die one day. I'm going to die one day, and it's might be soon, it might not be. So, like, what's the point in hoarding all this stuff if, like, I die, like, tomorrow and none of it was used? Like, what's the point? So, like, I just gotta swallow that pill and just be like, cool, throw caution to the wind. Let's experiment and do weird stuff and dumb stuff. And I probably won't look good, but we're gonna do it anyway. And that's why I'm bringing, like, the Sketch Scouts to life. Like, I'm gonna take Casey's little thing that she made, thinking, oh, this is cute. I'm gonna make it a real thing. You watch me do it. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be great. But I think what will help that in, like, overall is going to be starting to organize my day. And I bought a calendar, and it looks gorgeous. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. But I bought a calendar, and I'm going to mark down what days I'm doing what class, and then I'm also going to try and mark down what days I'm going to do something for streaming or recording or etc. Just to give myself better organized. I usually do this on my phone, and it works fine enough. But, like, I feel like I'm very much one of those people, like, if I have a physical thing there, I'm more likely to do something with it. That's why I kept a planner for so long. That's why I keep physical sketchbooks everywhere, because, like, when I have an idea that strikes, I'ma write it down. And, like, that's just how I do. If I write it on my phone, guess what? I forget it's there, and, like, I'll go into my notes app and, like, find a billion ideas for, like, drawings or, like, stories, and I'm just like, holy cow, why did I never, like, write this down anywhere else? But, yeah, I want to do that. I want to take a physical calendar and write stuff down. That way it's there in my office, and I can look at it and be like, okay, I need to do that today. But speaking of today, that is all I have for today. So, I hope you enjoyed, and hope you have a fantastic day. If you're joining me for the first time, hi, how you doing? I'm Magnus, and hope you enjoyed. If you like this kind of stuff and want to see more of it, please consider subscribing or follow me on Twitch. And if you really like this stuff and want to help me make more of it, especially in the new year, then please consider checking out my Patreon like these wonderful people right here. Purpliest, Hannah Wolf, and Mixed Scales. But anyway, guys, what you've been watching here has been Rogue Legacy 2. It's out in early access right now on the PC, and you can pick it up right now with the link in the description down below. But anyway, guys, I'll catch you on the flip side with more crazy content in 2021 and in the forever future. Bye-bye.